Good evening. It is the 15th day of October, the year 2024. Indeed, it's the day that a lot has happened in terms of the political sphere. It's a day that Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's effort of trying to at least put a halt to his impeachment motion was yet again thwarted. This time round, the court granting the Senate to proceed with the impeachment motion, setting the stage for what could be the beginning of the end of a man who has fashioned himself as the public and of course #1 defender of the mountain. That is as far as the mountain politics is concerned. So the Deputy President has a date with the Senate. This time round, his fate squarely hangs on the balance. Whatever happens between now and then, it's just a matter of time. And that is part of the story that we have lined up for you. And of course, in regard to many other stories that we have in our subsequent bulletin tonight. But first thing first, our top stories. Tonight, no escape route. High Court reject bid to stop Gachagua impeachment motion in Senate. Protest and chaos. Protesters in Nyamira County clash with the police officers opposing the return of the county speaker. Also tonight, comply or face the music. Health PS fire warning to health officers practicing without certificate to comply or shut down. The looming strike. Lecturers issue a 7-day strike notice over failure to implement a return to work formula.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Tonight, I'm not alone. Lucy Kiare will be assisting us on the sign language interpretation department. Remember, you can follow this broadcast on all of our social media platforms. We are coming to you live on YouTube at KUTV News Live. You can tweet us on X at KUTV_Kenya at Auma Evans. Remember to use the hashtag State of the Nation. So tonight we begin the State of the Nation in the corridors of justice, where the embattled Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was dealt yet another blow after the High Court in Nairobi declined to issue a conservatory orders to bar the Senate from proceeding with his impeachment motion. Justice Chacha Mwita instead referred the matter to Chief Justice Martha Koome to task the 3-judge bench appointed to hear and determine the case. Gachagua is now set to appear before the Senate to defend himself. Dennis Munyi is on that beat tonight.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has suffered yet another blow after the High Court declined to issue conservatory orders to bar the Senate from hearing the impeachment motion against him tomorrow. Milimani Law Court Justice Chacha Mwita in his ruling said that the process of impeachment should be allowed to continue to its conclusion. According to Justice Mwita, the court was reluctant to question parliamentary procedures as it did not breach the constitution. He further explained that the doctrine of separation of powers between the two arms of government cannot be usurped. Justice Mwita referred the matter to Chief Justice Martha Koome to appoint a 3-judge bench to hear and determine the case. According to Justice Chacha Mwita, it will now be upon the discretion of the Chief Justice to task the same 3-judges bench to hear and determine the case. Chief Justice Koome has already appointed a bench consisting of Justice Eric Ogola, Anthony Mrima, and Dr. Frida Mugambi to hear the 5 petitions seeking to prevent the impeachment of Gachagua.
Lakini sisi tuna imani kubwa sana na mahakama zetu. Our judiciary is very professional, and I have no doubt in my mind that our eminent judges will protect and uphold the Constitution.
As this unfolds, Gachagua has said that he's banking on the judiciary. Gachagua is being represented by a legal team led by Senior Counsel Paul Mwite, who is challenging the impeachment on grounds of lack of public participation. Gachagua is now expected to appear before the Senate tomorrow to defend himself and then await the three-judge bench ruling if he is impeached. Dennis Munyi, KUTV.
All right, thank you, Dennis Munyi, for that comprehensive reporting. Now let me take you to Nyamira County. Protesters opposing the return of the embattled Nyamira County Speaker Enoch Okero clashed with the police officers outside the county assembly. Their confrontation broke out when the police, armed with sticks, confronted protesters, some of whom were also armed as well, for allegedly opposing the return of the county speaker, who was ousted just a week ago and replaced by his deputy Thaddeus Nyabaro from the house by a faction of the members. Okero could not access the county assembly with a motion to discuss his conduct underway in regard to that impeachment motion, and of course the ouster of the deputy, or rather the county speaker of Nyamira. Switching gears to health matters, public health officers practicing without license risk losing their jobs following a warning from Principal Secretary for Public Health and Professional Standards, Mary Muthoni. And as Emma Mwangi reports, Muthoni has directed all health workers to comply with all the ministry's services required, requirement that the least of them being a service certificate.
As Kenya commemorates Global Hand Washing Day 2024, Principal Secretary for Public Health and Professional Standards Mary Muthoni has issued a directive to all public health employees that they need to meet all the ministry's service standards and obtain verified certificates for it. Muthoni warns that failure to have relevant certificates attracts job termination.
If you are not licensed, then you're breaking the same law that you want to enforce.
Speaking in Machakos after a meeting with public health officers, Muthoni called out public health officers for laxity in conducting regular inspections to assess hygiene conditions, especially in food outlets, across institutions and commercial avenues.
And if you're not licensed, then let us not find you in the streets, because we will turn against you. Please, get licensed.
According to her, many food vendors operate without licenses and fail to follow health regulations, a situation that has contributed to the rise of diseases caused by unsanitary conditions, including cholera. She stated that over 100,000 community health promoters, in collaboration with public health officers, will play a significant role in preventing such diseases.
So why are we still dealing with issues of cholera? We still have 15 counties in this country that still practice open defecation. Why? Where is our public health officer?
Already 147,050 residents in the county have registered for the SHA program, and the campaign titled Epuka Uchafu will run for 3 days in the county to raise awareness about personal and environmental hygiene, a campaign that will be conducted monthly.
Our rollout in the counties and engagement with the Epuka Uchafu campaign will make you stand out. That every month you can be able to mobilize even your own family to come out.
She urged Kenyans to come out in large numbers to register for this program, as 100% of them will be able to access healthcare services compared to the 20% who are covered under the NHIF insurance. Emma Mwangi, KUTV.
And still on health matters, Health Cabinet Secretary Dr. Deborah Barasa has today launched the Women's Integrated Cancer Services project at Bumula Grounds in Bungoma County. In alignment with the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the initiative is designed to enhance access to breast and cervical cancer screening and treatment for women throughout Kenya. The pilot phase will take place in Nyandarua and Bungoma County, supported by the World Health Organization and Roche. She encouraged the public to prioritize cancer awareness and early detection to help reduce stigma and improve health outcomes. She also highlighted that the registration of the Kenyans for the Social Health Authority medical scheme is still ongoing despite the obstacles and challenges currently being witnessed in the country.
So the guide that His Excellency the President said is that we should have affordable, accessible care, and this is under the government beta agenda, and that is what we are implementing as the Ministry of Health. I have been able to establish the task force, and I've tasked them to ensure that implementation is ongoing and that all Kenyans are able to access care, including the cancer patients and patients on dialysis. And so those mitigation measures are being put in place to ensure none of the Kenyans fails to access care. So the guide that His Excellency
Now, Principal Secretary for State Department for Gender and Affirmative Action, Anne Wangombe, has called for a joint effort in the fight against retrogressive vices like female genital mutilation and gender-based violence to make a society-free entity against aggression. Rukia Hussein with more.
Principal Secretary for the State Department of Gender and Affirmative Action, Anne Wangombe, has stressed on the need for communities to abandon outdated customs that infringe on children's rights. She noted that nothing can be achieved through violence and ungodly cultures.
We are aware that we have a lot of gender-based violence that is going on in our country, and we are here to encourage our communities to stop the vice. We want to dissuade them from this vice because there is no much development that can be achieved if we continue with gender-based violence.
Seconding her sentiment was Principal Secretary for Social Protection and Senior Citizens, Joseph Motari, who underscored the importance of tangible interventions to raise awareness about the negative impacts of practice like FGM and early marriage. He urged enhanced advocacy and community sensitization to educate those still engaging in these harmful customs.
We want to educate our people. We tell our people that yes, this was. Now the world is moving to a different direction. And now that the world is moving, we should not also be left behind. Let us move with the world such that we catch up with the rest of the world. So that's what we are here to educate our people. We are not forcing anybody, but ours is to talk to them, tell them that the vice of FGM is this one, and we feel this is also a violence against children, because these children do not have the consent of this FGM.
Gilbert Kamanga, National Director of World Vision Kenya, highlighted their commitment to create effective interventions to combat FGM, early marriages and teenage pregnancies, particularly through the Kenyan Big Dream program, an initiative that aims at empowering communities and promoting positive cultural practices.
With the intention to fight female genital mutilation, FGM, to fight child marriage, and to eliminate teenage pregnancy. So all these three, they have a very adverse effect on the life of a child, more especially on the girl. And therefore, that's why I'm excited today to have our PS for Gender and Affirmative Action, but also our PS for Social Protection, that together we can layer different interventions so that we eliminate this vice, the vice of FGM, the vice of child marriage, and the vice of teenage pregnancy. That's why at World Vision we say we have a Kenya big dream. The big dream is that these three vices should be eliminated throughout the country.
At the same time, Migori Member of Parliament Fatma Mohammed urged the Korean community to abandon the outdated practices terming them inhuman and crime. She encouraged embracing positive cultures and empowering girls through education for community development, fostering a safer and more equitable environment for all.
Advice to the community, actually to be specific, it's the Korea community that practice FGM. In Luo land side, they don't practice FGM. But I want to tell them that some of the traditions that we had are outdated. Even the Luos used to remove the 6 teeth down. The downer 6 teeth they used to remove. They don't do it anymore because they realize it was a cultural thing, but it's of no use today. Same to cutting the women. You know, when you cut the network of a woman, you have denied an opportunity to be a full woman. And God had a purpose to create that particular part of the body. So I'm encouraging our parents, please let our girls have their network full. Stop cutting their network. And you find, by the way, it's not a joke, you're seeing majority of the Korean men are crossing the border and marrying Luos. Why are they marrying Luos? Because the other side network is full and this side network is half. So you're doing it to your daughter unknowingly that in future it will affect your daughter. So I'm encouraging our parents kindly. There are other practices that are godly, there are other practices that are encouraged, and you must also know that it is a crime. If you're caught cutting a girl, you will be jailed, both the parents and the person who is cutting.
Nevertheless, community is urged to collaborate with the government in creating a safe and more equitable future. Rukia Hussein, KUTV.
Right, that story by Rukia Hussein takes us to our first break here on the State of the Nation. Plenty more to follow after the break.
Wanasema fuata nyuki ule asali.
Si smooth every now and then. Kwa sababu kama for example unaona kulikuwa na vitu zinaitwa ndinoho. Sijui the snails. Na sometimes kama hii mwaka tumepata challenges sana ya panya. Zinakula mchere, unaweza pata ekari imeachwa bila kitu.
Kaunti ya Kirinyaga ni moja ya maeneo yanayokuza mpunga kwa wingi.
Naam, kama wanavyosema mchumia juani kulia kivulini. Jinsi unavyoona kilimo cha mpunga si rahisi, lakini mapato yake utapenda.
Ungana nami Diana na Shipai Jumapili hii saa 12:30 na saa 3 jioni katika makala ya kilimo biashara kwa ufahamu zaidi.
Samaki mkunje angali mbichi ni kauli anayoifahamu fika Derek Ogonda.
I think kitu muhimu kwa mtu yeyote mwenye ako na talent ni passion.
Bidii yao ndio fahari wanayojivunia. Matokeo yake ni faida tele.
So far tulikuwa champions wa Kiambu Chapadimba, wameenda paka regionals, walicheza hadi semis.
Jiunge nami mwanaspoti wako Sam Mitiaki Jumaa ya tarehe 25 Oktoba saa 12:30 na saa 3 usiku kwa uhondo kamili.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it State of the Nation. Now let's continue. Public university lecturers and staffers under the university's Academic Staff Union, UASU, and the Kenya University's Staff Union, KUSU, have issued a fresh 7-day national strike notice of a failure by the state to implement a return to work formula signed on September 26th, according to their 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement demands. This notice comes barely 3 weeks after the September industrial action and negotiations between the University Academic Staff Union, Kenya University Staff Union, and the Ministry of Labour and Education. The WASU official claims that their effort for a dialogue have been met with negligence, and the agreement contains clauses that promise pay increment to all university workers, as well as increment in the retirement threshold for all academic staff. And now Kenya's economic challenge that saw commodity and service price hike due to increased taxes has greatly affected the tourism industry. This is according to German ambassador to Kenya, Sebastian Kroth, who revealed that German tour operators have raised concerns about rising park fees and travel costs, which have discouraged many German tourists from visiting in large numbers, as Diana Nashpai now reports.
The government has been urged to review its tourism strategy by offering high-quality products at affordable rates to compete with the global market and attract more German tourists to the country. German ambassador to Kenya, Sebastian Groth, said Germany, despite Europeans' economic crisis significantly reducing its residents' disposable income, tour operators have been complaining about increased park fees and high costs for German tourists, making it difficult for them to come in large numbers.
The potential that Kenya has, there's a lot to win, but Kenya has to realize that it's a tough competition. We have Zanzibar, we have South Africa, we have Namibia, and I think to reconnect to the rich history of German tourism of the 70s and 80s, a lot of homework has to be done.
He noted that while Kenya is a beautiful destination, it faces stiff competition from other African countries like Zanzibar, Namibia, and South Africa, as well as global markets.
So the complaints that we get from German tour operators is that some of the costs for German tourists also increased too much recently. So that concerns the fees for the parks, for example. Also, flights are getting more expensive. This is not, of course, the responsibility of the Kenyan government, but this is just the normal market.
Despite the global economic challenge dragging the thrive of tourism in the country, coastal leaders have vowed to brace themselves to compete effectively with the other countries in tourism in order to increase the number of both domestic and international tourists.
Lakini zaidi cha msingi zaidi ambacho pia tungependa tushirikiane na serikali ya Ujerumani ni masuala ya utalii hapa ndani ya Malindi. Mnajua Malindi masuala ya utalii kidogo tumeweza kurudi nyuma, na ni vizuri unapokutana na viongozi kama hawa waweze kukuelezea kiundani kinagaubaga yale matatizo yenye ambao katika nchi yao na ni kwa nini utalii hapa ndani ya Malindi imeweza kupungua.
We've trained in Germany. We have wonderful projects and programs that we run with our colleagues in Germany. Yeah, so we are celebrating a rich history of partnerships, both in infrastructure, training, exhibition development and program.
Sebastian also noted that Germany seeks to strengthen its relation with Kenya, having more mobility and migration agreement that will enable many Kenyans willing to apply for jobs to go and work in Germany. Signed, Diana Nashpai, KUTV.
Now, Kenya-based private equity firm Fusion Group has successfully sold Kigali Heights to USA Company Limited for 4.4 billion Kenyan shillings, an equivalent to $31.8 US, winning commercial development featuring a retail mall near Kigali's convention center has achieved over 95% occupancy since its opening in December 2016. The Chief Executive Officer Daniel Kamau expressed satisfaction with the sale, noting that the project's commercial success and the firm's positive relationship with Rwandan authorities. Fusion Groups, which operates primarily from Nairobi, has been a significant player in East Africa's commercial property market for 18 years and remain committed to exploring new investment opportunities in Rwanda.
Originally, we were focused on microfinance, but then over time we realized there wasn't really a missing middle and started scaling up. And then in 2010, we dived into real estate.
All right, so let's take yet another short breather here on the State of the Nation. When we come back, it's Matter All Sports.
I am right here for your sake. Now, today we are going to talk about the beginning of a fall. But not just a fall, it is a fall never to recover. If you spend your time sleeping, na tumesema while you are drunk, your senses are sleeping. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. How are you doing today? I'm well in the Lord. I hope you are well in the Lord. First of all, I'd like to thank our Father in heaven. They say broken things can't be fixed, right? But that's a lie. Genesis chapter 3 verses 8. That evening they heard the Lord God walking in the garden, and they hid from him among the trees. But the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whomever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Catch me right here only on KUTV every single Sunday.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa si vuguvugu. Pepopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaweza kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni Duniani Leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness and lifestyle. I am your host, Job Offender, and on this episode, we discuss what exactly Equity Afya Centers do alongside Business Development Manager Boniface Kagumba.
Is a medical center, is a franchise network of medical practitioners who came together through Equity Foundation. With a mission to offer standardized, quality and affordable healthcare to all.
Alright, let's talk modern sports. Now, the Kenya under-20 national football team was a no match for Sudan with a commanding 4-0 victory in the Sekafa Championship that doubles up as the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers at the Azam Complex Stadium in Tanzania. Kenya's midfielder Andrin Kibet opened the score sheet in the 3rd minute with a powerful header. Kibet was unstoppable, adding his second goal in the 41st minute. Calvin Wangaya joined the score sheet in the 76th minute, marking his 4th goal in the tournament. Kibet completed the route in extra time, sealing the victory for Kenya with his 3rd goal of the match in the 92nd minute. And now from football to some basketball action. The Nairobi City Thunders is set to face Club Blue Valon Heat of Seychelles in the 2025 Basketball Africa League qualifiers, which tip off this Wednesday in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The reigning National Men's Basketball League champions will be up against Urani from Burundi on Friday, followed by a showdown with GNBC of Madagascar on Saturday. The Thunders will conclude their group campaign on Sunday when they go head-to-head with Tanzania JKT. All right, it's a wrap. Many thanks for the men and the women behind the scene, and of course for you esteemed viewers for always keeping us a company in the last 28 minutes or so. My good name is Auma Evans. Lucy Kiari is our sign language interpreter. Until next time, do have a lovely night.